Reading the data on a burette is just like reading the data off a pipette. It must be read from the bottom of the meniscus and recorded to 2 decimal places. A titration is the mixing of a solution with a known concentration with another solution of an unknown concentration. This is done to find the concentration of the solution. To find the unknown concentration, you must first know the volume and concentration of the first solution, and the volume of the solution with the unknown concentration. You will find the volume of the solution with the unknown concentration during the titration. With this information, you will be able to find the concentration of the solution. Priming is the rinsing of the burette 3 times with distilled water and 3 times with the solution that is being used, in this case, sodium hydroxide. First, measure the initial volume on the burette from the bottom of the meniscus. Next, open the valve and swirl the reacting vessel. After that, close the valve and measure the final volume. Write down the results in your lab notebook to 2 decimal places. First, measure the initial volume on the burette to the bottom of the meniscus. Next, open the valve on the burette. Once the sodium hydroxide is draining, swirl the reacting vessel. After that, close the valve and measure the final volume from the bottom of the meniscus. Write down the results in your lab notebook to 2 decimal places. First, measure the initial volume on the burette from the bottom of the meniscus. Next, open the valve. Then, swirl the reacting vessel to mix the NaOH with the solution. Once the solution in the reacting vessel has turned a light pink for 30 seconds, stop the flow from the burette and measure the final volume. Make sure to measure the final volume from the bottom of the meniscus. Now, write it down in your lab notebook to 2 decimal places. All data from the titration should be collected in your lab notebook. In the lab notebook, there should be columns to identify the glassware being used, the initial volume, the final volume, and the total volume transferred of sodium hydroxide.